Good. Can you all hear me?
Have you there? Good to have you here.
Great, thank you very much. So my name's Paul Gardner. I'm an associate professor at the University of Otago, deputy director of the genetics teaching program, and my co-submitter is Dr. Nicole Wheeler. She's an expert in AI and biosecurity use based at the University of Birmingham and has a PhD from the University of Canterbury, where she worked on developing machine learning methods for predicting pathogenicity or invasiveness of different bacteria. Yeah. So the points we wanted to make that, in line with the other submitters as well, we're very much in favour of modernising the current regulations. So we applaud the government's efforts to develop a more balanced and risk-aware regulatory framework. We do think there are some other areas where a little more development could be made. So it turns out to be quite a complicated problem to assess risk, right? So, this is at its heart, this is a fairly challenging computational problem here. So, we can use AI-assisted gene editing methods and gene design methods that can employ synthetic DNA techniques to, produce novel genetically modified organisms. Many of these will be benign and absolutely fine as well, but others, there may be either intentional or unintentional potential harmful applications for some of these. Currently, within New Zealand and also internationally, there's no well-developed best practice for screening these sorts of methods as well. And in particular, none have been developed with sort of the New Zealand issues in mind. So we suggest strengthening the monitoring frameworks for synthetic DNA technologies and recommend that New Zealand get involved in some of these international efforts to develop more robust screening frameworks there. So, we'd quite like to see more support for mandatory nucleic acid screening, and in particular with AI-aware methods. So one thing Nicole's group did was submit a whole lot of novel designs to some of these biosynthesis companies, and most of her designs passed without issue as well, except for those that absolutely exactly matched some toxins there. So it's relatively trivial to work around some of the biosynthetic companies' existing frameworks there. So I think I'd better leave it there. I really hope we can align with some of these international best practices there, and I'm open to answering any questions if I can.
All right, we'll go, Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Paul. My question I've got about your comment about AI, I haven't seen that in any other submission. What are you envisioning with AI-specific regulation? Could you talk through a bit more of the AI risk that you see?
Sure. So this research area, we're using AI tools all the time for analyzing structure, analyzing evolution, identifying relationships between different genetic sequences and things like that. But what we can do is flip those models around and make them generative as well. So they can produce novel genes, novel sort of synthetic bias sequences as well. Some of those could have very useful properties. Some could be toxic or increase pathogenicity as well.
Could I just ask for a clarification? Are you saying that the AI that you're envisioning would actually be doing the genetic modification, or is it designing it? And if it's designing it, where's the harm? Yeah.
So it's the same side of the same coin, right? So the same tools that can be used to assess risk are the same tools that can be used to produce more risky compounds there. So it's kind of using fire to fight fire.
So if I may, Mr. Chair, just to clarify my original question, we're at time.
We're at time.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
You're right.
All right, so that's right. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for the discussion.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, next up for 10 minutes with him.
Okay, so what do you think about talks of AI when it comes to gene technology?
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead, Michael. Go ahead, Michael.
So luckily, I did read a paper that was produced by a Chinese tech firm and also a big gene edit company, and that was using CRISPR-Cas12 and basically a machine learning AI thing, which was incorporated in the back end of that structure in a company that coexists with that, and to evaluate the potential off-target and on-target edits and all of that sort of stuff. And so it's 282 pages long, the paper, and it goes through the process of that. It concluded with the fact that there was still a hell of a lot of, wasn't really the golden egg. There was still, the machine learning couldn't really catch up quick enough there was still a lot of off targets, and a lot of the on targets were off. So, I mean, ultimately, this already sort of speaks to what Tim Cook said when they announced that basically the day after that China announced that they'd released DeepSeek for 6 million. And Tim Cook is standing there and he says, well, that's, you know, okay. Trump says, okay, we're going to dump another 500 billion into this project so that you can catch up to the Chinese. And Tim Cook says, well, basically we're going to incorporate our version of OpenAI with CRISPR-Cas12, and which China's already tried to do and said it's waste time. And we're going to basically take Sam Summers, because he's got cancer, and he's going to come into the clinic and plug him into this machine, and it's going to assess him, and then the next day he can come back and have a dose, and he's going to be cured of cancer. So this is, it's, I mean, you know, they're all Elon Musk, aren't they? Like, they're all sort of, you know, it's sort of like they'd be better writing comic books and staying the hell away from us, but unfortunately they have an enormous amount of sway when it comes to these sorts of things. So it's sort of old news what the guy's going on about, and I think that again it's just a major money pit. You know, like I guess to a politician, you know, like, you know, looking at, like, I'm very intrigued with the panel. I think that when we submitted, I think that the Green MP has just been amazing. The questions that he's asked, you know, that tracks back and it's deep within the history of the Green Party with Rod Donald. You know, he was so right. You know, fair trade, not free trade, and, you know, ban GE, no nukes, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he's carried that on, just simple thinking, like us, you know, like proper farmers are, you know, like there's got to be, the risk's got to be low and the reward's got to be good and all that sort of thing. Yeah. And then you look at Joe, and I think this is how we've got there. The New Zealand Labour Party it's sort of like the 8% in the survey about the farmers that sort of said, well, okay, I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm not going to say I don't want it. I'm not going to say that I do want it. I'm going to let you guys fight over that. And that's sort of what Joe's doing, and that's what the Labour Party stance has been with it, where they could have been more firm and just look deeper into it and sort of look at the cui bono of it. Who's benefiting?
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem. And it's like, and at what cost? So in grasslands, I mean, we've always had a great critic of us in Regen, which was Doug Edmeades, and he's retired, and it's such a shame because it's always good to wake up in the morning and pick up the farming paper and find yourself being sort of torn to bits by Doug Edmeades about how much money regenerative farmers are getting from the government or something. Like, I haven't had any of it, but anyway. And just what we're all liars and all this sort of thing, and, you know, da-da-da-da. But Doug said, look, Grasslands New Zealand, it's got no new cultivars of rye and clover. What are they doing? What the hell have they been doing? It's like, well, this is what they've been doing.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Laura?
I mean, it makes sense to use deep learning and AI. I mean, I literally just asked AI about, how is AI used in genetic engineering? It makes sense. If you've got huge amounts of genomic data to go through and you want a machine, you want machine learning algorithms and AI to, to analyze the data, yeah, it makes sense to use that technology. I'm not an expert when it comes to artificial intelligence or machine learning, so that's out of my wheelhouse. But yeah, if you've got huge amounts of data, it makes sense to make the process more efficient and utilize AI and machine learning.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok.